All right, here we go. As soon as that green light comes on, I think I'm live. That's my thought on this. Hey, everybody. My name is Gary. Today is our first Friday for the Foundations of Ukulele. And on every Friday, we always have a concert from the songs from the week. And so that's what we're about to do. If you have not been there yet, swing on by jollyrogerukulele.com. And all things will be explained to you there, along with all of the sheet music that you will need. My keyboard has conked out. I think it's out of batteries, but I put batteries in it the other day, so maybe those batteries were bad. And so I am using my keyboard, so you'll be seeing me come here and grasp at this. Today we are playing, we are doing our Make It Better bar worksheet. We're playing Frère Jacques for the last time for a while, and then we are also going to be just strumming and singing today in the key of A, which is interesting because years ago I stopped teaching the key of C during the first week because it's just too crazily difficult, and the key of A is a much more approachable key on ukulele, and so we'll be doing that today. Plus it's approachable on all the other instruments as well, so we can all play together, and it's lovely. And then I'm going to go tweet our lesson here, https://jollyrogerukulele.com. Then that pops up, and then I add the photo. I'm going to get out of the harmonica stuff and into the ukulele stuff, foundations. There, click and tweet. Yeah, it's the wrong graphic, but it'll work. All right, and so there's that. And then, all right. Let's see, what else we got going on? Today, well, I already told you what we're playing today, so I'm very, very enthusiastic about that. And let's see if Sarah made it in. It's not Sarah. Sarah's tricking us. Mindy made it in. Hi, Mindy. Can I borrow with the middle finger? No. It's easier when you first start. It will be impossible later on, Mindy. So, yeah, great question, but the answer is no. Sorry. I have had one person, I taught one person who didn't have an index finger. They had just a little part of an index finger, and that person we did have to go with a bar on the middle finger. But you're going to end up having, when you put on the bar, you're going to end up having to use all three of these fingers to make chord shapes in front of the bar. And so, great question, Mindy, but no, you don't want to do that. It will impede your progress down the road. Good morning, Linda, in from Colorado Springs. And Mindy, you're in Montana, right? I think I'm trying to remember. I think that you told me Montana. I apologize, I've forgotten. Vic, welcome in. She's from Oregon. Sound is good, she says. Let's see here. Get out of my harmonica stuff and into my ukulele stuff. And we're going to be playing the Make It Better bar sheet. Okay, and then we're going to play Frère Jacques. We'll be doing ukulele. Well, we're going to do both of them on both ukulele and baritone, the Make It Better bar thing, and then we will do Frère Jacques probably on ukulele first, right? All right. We're a minute or two early here, so I'll hang out and not start quite yet. I got all these pencils here. Seems like I must need a lot of pencils to do my job. That doesn't belong even in this room. What the heck? I'll clean up while we're waiting on everybody to get in. What else should I tell you about? You guys all have your little booklets. Hopefully you've had a chance to print it out. This is the answer to teaching ukulele right here. This is the top secret thing. If I could just, those of you guys who like to sing especially, right? If I can get you to just use this and stop doing this crazy stuff you're doing, we would all be in great shape. Let's see. Mindy from Montana. That's what I thought. Also, I cannot for the life of me keep my thumb flat. It only works on the side. Mindy, you've been playing for 4 days. Okay, don't be overstressing certain things. Well, we can talk about that. I know exactly what's going on there, Mindy, and I get it. Right? I totally understand what you're struggling with. So let's talk. While we're walking in, maybe we'll just chat. I'll here for a bit. Day one, right? I say, here's what you have to do. You have to take your thumb, put the pad on the back of the neck, and it should be perpendicular to the neck, and that's where your thumb will be. Blah, blah, blah. And then you're going to have this nice rounded palm. Let's see if I can get, how do I get, I don't know how to run a mirror image. This is what you get with your fingers, okay? So your thumb is here, thumb is dropping straight down. Got these beautiful rounded fingers. Life is grand. That's what you're going to be doing. That's what you're going to be doing. When you first start, Gary makes it sound all easy. It's not easy, okay? It's not easy. The reason this is not easy is because this muscle right here is not developed yet, okay? And so it is not at all, it's not even really, it's there, it's just no good at anything yet. And so when you do that, it's really like, ugh, that doesn't feel right. It feels very uncomfortable because you're using a muscle that you have never really developed. If you're a rock climber, you do that muscle, right? You're climbing your way up, but we don't do that for much else. Even when you're opening in a jar, which is about the only time you're really cranking down on your hand, you're not using that muscle. So we're requiring this moment where you're taking that weird part of your hand to create this new. And in the beginning is very challenging, okay? So what happens in order to compensate, and you will see advanced guitar players doing this exact thing. In order to compensate for that, I gotta get this strap out of the way. How do I do this? In order to compensate for this, we do this, plunk, okay? And now this is really solid in the middle of our hand. The problem with that, of course, is as this is sitting in the middle of our hand, now our chord shape, let me see how I do that. Now look how tight the chords, your fingers all of a sudden have to be because your thumb's up here, okay? So by bringing this down, your fingers become more round, and then that's what you want. So, but this, you can just see the contraption of your hand collapsing as the further your thumb goes up. And this then is going to slow you down the road. It's going to be a problem. Okay, so that's one thing people do. The other thing that they do, okay, is they're sitting there, they're like, well, he doesn't want me to do that. He don't want my thumb up here. So I'm going to do, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it down like this. Okay, so I'm going to put it down here. He can't see my thumb. That must count, right? So let's look at the effect of how that works. I got this darn strap in the way. So this is what I want, and you're like, that can't quite do that yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take my palm. I'll put my thumb sideways like this. Now look at what's happening again with my fingers. They're all cramped up. Okay, so that's not going to work long term. You're not going to be able to get the speed out of that you want. Okay, and then the third thing that my little kids do, which this is my favorite thing when I teach little kids, I say, all right, you got to put your thumb here. We teach them Frère Jacques. They come back in the next week, their thumb is down here. Okay, and you can see exactly why. Now. The whole entire ukulele is sitting up against my palm, very solid, very strong. Their thumb's down here, and they're busy playing your ukulele like this. Well, again, look at how conflicted your fingers are. Okay, so in the beginning, we do these things as compensation skills because we don't have this muscle developed yet, and importantly, once you start doing this wacko hold. You get where you think, yeah, that's how I'm going to do it for the rest of my life. And you see professional guitar players, you see untrained musicians doing this kind of stuff all the time. Can you play it with your thumb in a wacko position? Probably. Can you play it at the highest level? Probably not. And that's my job, is to get you to, from where you are, all the way up to pushing Jake off the stage and being the highest, best ukulele player that we can get out of you. In order to do that, we have to have really good technique, and we have to have a really solid toolbox that we're using. And so in the beginning, okay, your thumb needs to be here, and as you see it starting to do crazy stuff, you got to think, if Gary was in the room, he'd be losing his mind. I better stop doing that, right? And so talk yourself into pulling that thumb down where it's supposed to be. If you end up with it, sort of rotating this way or this way, I don't have a huge problem with that because it's going to when you're talking about this pivot, that's going to settle down. Right now, you're still fighting the upper front, but as long as your thumb stays down here and you're not resting your ukulele in your palm in any other meaningful way, you're going to be fine. It hurts in the beginning. It's not easy in the beginning, but this is why I make such a major deal about your thumb. If I can get your thumb to stay where it's supposed to be, everything else is going to be so much easier. But in the beginning, heck yeah, you're just like, no, that's not working. I need it this way. I got little kids this way, right? I'm going to do way up here. I'm going to, there's all sorts of stuff that I've seen. When I'm teaching class, it's not uncommon for people who've been taking lessons on YouTube to come to class because they know they're not getting the right information. And the very first thing I notice is their thumb is completely in trouble. And so just be patient with yourself when it comes to this thumb business. I do know, I can assure you, if you go look at every single well-trained classical guitar player on YouTube, 100% of them, you will never see their thumb anywhere other than here, and that's because it's the correct thing to do. And so if they're doing it on guitar, which is much harder to fret than our ukulele, you got to be doing it on ukulele as well. So I hope I didn't overload you with this you got to do it my way thing, but this one thing, if we can get that right, everything else is going to kind of come together. So that's what my hope is. Nancy's in from Florida, 72 overcast. What the heck, Nancy? Come on, get it together. 26 degrees up in Fort McMurray. It is a hot day up in northern Alberta. Glad you're here, Jim. And Mindy says, sunny here. When I bar, I keep losing the first two. I keep losing the first string. I try to putting my thumb correctly, and then okay, so all of this stuff, think about what you're doing. You got this crazy mechanism, and you're going to start teaching it to do stuff it's never done before. So when you press down, when you get this pressed down, well, then your bar comes up, right? So then you put your bar down, but then your thumb does something weird. And then down the road, we're going to put shapes in front of that bar, right? And then all of a sudden, we're going to take a little while, right? You're new. We're working on it. Be patient with yourself. I've had players. B flat is one of the things we have to learn down the road. Is this horrible shape? I did have one student took her 3 years to get it right. Most people get it right a lot sooner than that. But this stuff is challenging, and I do want you to know that you will get it. It will come along, and if you'll just be conscious that you're going to make a lot of that sound, right? I would way rather you be in perfect position thumb-wise and make this sound than to be, do this and get better sound. I can't even do it. Let's see if I can try it your way. Okay. The biggest thing you got to talk yourself into early on is this sound. Okay, that's what it sounds like right now. Okay, and we'll talk about it a little bit more next week. But in Hawaii, when you go to Hawaii, we make the brash assumption that Hawaiian players know how to play ukulele because they're from Hawaii, and that's where the ukulele is from. And there's ukuleles in every single music shop you go into, and they sell them on the boardwalk, and it's just very ukulele friendly. And then you go to the luau, and you hear this beautiful Hawaiian music, and you're like, I'm going to get a ukulele because they're kind of cheap and they look cute, and I want to play one. And what we don't necessarily pay attention to is often at the luau, here's how they're playing a ukulele. Now, if you were playing that way in the beginning, you're like, I'm playing it wrong. But this is a percussion instrument, and this sound is very normal in Hawaiian music, and so you should not, if you're working on your bar and this comes out, don't lose sleep. Don't lose sleep. Literally let that be okay. Just tell yourself, Gary says this sound is okay. He also says it will go away. Okay, but it's going to take a little bit of work on our muscular system. So patience, love yourself. Allow yourself to make crummy sounds. I had one of my very favorite people in the whole world came to take some lessons from me. She's a highly advanced, super far out there musician. Like I'm never going to catch her type person musician, and she was having this. And she was struggling with, hey, let that be. You're waiting on your hands and your muscles to get stronger. And she was, as a professional trained musician, she was struggling with that a little bit. But after a few more weeks, comes in, you'll be fine. All right. Good morning, Rob. 30, you're above freezing. Yes. All right. Texarkana is back in the ball game. Oh my gosh. Warming got the heater on in the house. Very excited. Very few people venturing out because of the snow. Yeah, you got 18 inches of snow in Texas. People moved to Texas so they don't ever have to deal with snow, and look at what they ended up with here. Terrible. All right. Glad you're here, Rob. Tell them to go out and make a snowman. I'm from Colorado. It turns out that's kind of a fun activity. But they don't own coats in Texas, so can you imagine? You don't even own a coat. It's all these poor people with blankets around them because they don't have coats. It's such a crazy time. All right, let's do that. Make a better bar. Had a little bit of a talk. Mindy walked in and says, "Man, I'm fighting my thumb." So we had a little bit of a talk about. Trust me on this. If you will just let your thumb be where it's supposed to be, and then let that sound happen. All of that's going to be the right way to go. I would way rather your thumb be in the right position, and you make terrible music right now, than for your thumb to be in some wacko position and you get better sound. Okay, I'd much rather have that, because what will happen down the road, this will turn into that. Okay, so don't worry. Okay, let yourself make a lot of mistakes. It's okay. Thumb in good position. Ukuleles only, please. Baritone players, it sounds terrible if you play along with us, so sit out for just a second. We're going to go all the way down to 12, and we're going to come all the way back. We're going to do thumb, index, middle, ring, and then ring, middle, index, thumb on the way back. You're going to hear plenty of this. You might hear a few of... Let's see if I can do it. You hear a little bit of that, right, with a buzz on it. Let it be. Okay, you'll get better. You'll get stronger. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thumb, index, middle, ring. Thumb, index, middle, ring. Thumb, index, middle, ring. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Get ready to change your pattern after 12. Stay on 12. Ring, middle, index, thumb. Ring, middle, index, thumb on 10. 7. Okay, so theoretically you're playing along with me, trying to keep the note values about the same, and not without importance here, Mindy. I've been playing this instrument almost 20 years now, every single day, and right now the muscle that I'm using to my thumb, to run my thumb, it's like I had to do some work there. Okay, and I have a fully developed thumb muscle system here, but I can still feel it. So when you're new, you're probably like, "Oh man, that really is not that much fun." The muscles will come along just fine, but you are going to have to work on them a little bit and be patient with yourself just a tiny bit. All right, baritone. Same exact program from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lovely, right? I think the two skills that are there, you don't have, once you learn the pattern, right, you don't really need the sheet music. You can just watch your hand and watch it go down and come back up, and you're teaching this hand to be consistent. That's the hard lesson. But this business of building your bar, building the strength in your thumb, that's going to be a very helpful thing down the road when you have enough hand strength where you can pull these chords off. Unlike singing and strumming ukulele, where we teach you a very limited number of chords, and then we try to fit as many songs with those chords as possible. When you are playing instrumentally, you're going to be using lots and lots of chord shapes and all over the neck, and so being comfortable with putting your bar on, and also being comfortable with sometimes the sound is terrible when you do that, is going to be important. Getting this hand, teaching it some independence is also critical for your long-term success as a instrumental ukulele player. So that particular worksheet there, you would do yourself a favor by playing it every single day. Just wake up, play the song. Wake up, sit down, warm up with that, and then go on to your fun stuff. Okay, so far you haven't found anything fun, probably. So I'm going to try to make it fun. No, I'm not. I'm going to just teach. I don't know. I don't know what fun is anymore. Right? From the top, let's play Frère Jacques ukulele style. Baritone players, you're playing an A chord, index, middle, ring. Okay. That's your chord. Ukulele players, let's play the melody. 0240 457 79754 79754. Okay. Rob says, I was surprised several years ago that people up in North could buy cars without AC. When you live in Texas, you have a different worldview than the rest. Like, you mean they make cars without air conditionings? Why? How is that possible? Why would they do that? Back in the day when I was growing up, nobody had air conditioning in their house here in Denver, and now everybody does. All right, from the top. Frère Jacques ukulele players, you're playing one note at a time. Baritone players, you're playing the A chord. 4 beats per measure. Let's play through it twice. 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 2, 4, 0, 0, 2, 4, 0, 4, 5, 7, 4, 5, 7, ring fingers, 7, 9, 7, 5, 4, 0, 7, 9, 7, 5, 4, 0, first string, second string, first string, second string, first string, one more time, go. 0, 2, 4, 0, open, middle, pinky, open, index, index, middle, pinky, index, middle, pinky, start with your ring finger, ring, pinky, ring, middle, index, open, ring, pinky, ring, middle, index, open, first string, second string, first string, second string, first string. Okay, before we move on, ukulele players, I want you to grab your chord. Your A chord is here and here. You should be getting one of that starting to be a thing for you. Okay, let's practice strumming 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping, Brother John? Brother John. Morning bells are ringing. Morning bells are ringing. Ding dang dong. Ding dang dong. Okay, so again, you can keep keeping that beat steady. When you're on chords, you are a drummer also, and so you're not only making the chord, but you're also keeping the beat nice and steady. I use different right hand techniques that we'll be working on all of those techniques over the next few weeks, and so you'll be getting where you're like, yep, I totally get this. Okay, let's do it on baritone. Before I drop off the ukulele, we're going to move to the baritone one. Ukulele players, remember you've got this E chord, and I goofed it up yesterday. 4, 4, 4, 7. Okay. Frère Jacques, that's what you're going to be doing here. 4, 4, 4, 7. That's your chord. All right. Baritone players. you're going to play the melody with me. 0240-457-457-79754, first string, second string, first string, first string, second string, first string. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 2, 4, 0, 0, 2, 4, 0, 4, 5, 7, 4, 5, 7, 7, 9, 7, 5, 4, 0, 7, 9, 7, 5, 4, 0. First string, second string, first string, first string, second string, first string. One more time. 0, 2, 4, 0, 0, 2, 4, 0, 4, 5, 7, 4, 5, 7, 7, 9, 7, 5, 4, 0, 7, 9, 7, 5, 4, 0. First string, second string, first string, first string, second string, first string. Let it ride. Okay, and then baritone players, we're gonna sing as well. I hate singing, Gary. I don't want to have to sing. You should at least learn to strum and hum quietly to yourself, because it is going to come up in your life. No matter how much you try to get away from these ukulele players who like to sing, they're coming to get you. And so at those points you're on Okay, it is something you want to do. Baritone players, you're grabbing your E chord here and here. Ukulele players, you're still on 4-4-4-7, and let's in honor of Jim, let's do the French version today. 1, 2, 3, 4. Frère Jacques, Frère Jacques, dormez-vous, dormez-vous, sonnez les matines, sonnez les matines, ding, ding, dong, ding, ding, dong. One more time. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping, Brother John? Brother John. Morning bells are ringing, morning bells are ringing, ding, dang, dong, ding, dang, dong. It's interesting, I switched to the lower instrument, but because of the key change, my voice ended up going up, and I ran out of notes up there, and I got to be a worse singer than I usually am. So, fascinating stuff, right? Okay, so take away from this early stuff here. 1, make a better bar. Building up your bar capabilities with your bar, building up your hand strength, and building up your arpeggiated picking style over here. Number 2, Frère Jacques, teaching you how to pluck out a melody based on reading the tablature. There is nothing that I teach that's more important than that. And, well, maybe your thumb position. But that's number 1 in my list, is getting you where you understand what's going on that Frère Jacques paper. Because on the tablature line, it tells you how to play the melody, and then on the chords it tells you what the harmony looks like for that particular song. And because we have it in 2 different versions, a baritone version and a ukulele version, you get to practice 2 different keys right off the bat. So what we cover here the first week, we're on day 4 of Frère Jacques. That should give you a general sense of how important I think it is. It is critical to get where you're okay with Frère Jacques, because everything else builds on top of that. That is the bedrock foundation for everything that's going to come starting next week. Now, let's have a little bit of fun. Grab this book. I want you to turn it directly to page, is it 12? 12. All right, page 12 has a spaghetti guy on there. The spaghetti monster's on there. Spaghetti monster's coming back. This isn't our only spaghetti song. Don't worry. Don't worry. I got you covered for spaghetti. On top of spaghetti, back in the day, Led Zeppelin would do Stairway to Heaven. And when Robert Plant would go up to the microphone, he'd say, "This is a song of hope." And of course, if you know the lyrics to Stairway to Heaven, it's the opposite of that. It is not a song of hope. It is a song of misery over the sadness of the world that we live in. And here's what I will tell you. On Top of Spaghetti is a song of hope. You will note that what happens early on in the song is that the spaghetti meatball rolls off the table and down the road. Very sad. It rolls under a bush. Very sad. It turns into mush. Very sad. But then springtime comes and it springs into a spaghetti tree. A song of hope. Okay? It does reach the wrong conclusion at the end. At the end of the song it says, if you eat spaghetti all covered with cheese, hang on to your meatball and don't ever sneeze. Well, that's the wrong conclusion, right? Because this guy sneezed and he got a spaghetti tree out of it. So the conclusion would be is, hey, every time you eat spaghetti, you ought to try sneezing on it. Okay. I'm playing baritone. Baritone players, make sure you remember A chord, D chord, E7, back to A. Okay, we don't have an F sharp minor in this one. Ukulele players, your shapes are A chord, ba 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 bum, and then your D chord is bum 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 bum, and then your E7. Don't get too crazy with it. When you're on D, just slide this back and drop this down one, ba 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 bum, and then back to A, ba 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 bum. Okay, and our goal here is not to. Your real goal here is get as many of these chords in as possible, but your survival goal is, if I'm going faster than your hands will change chords, what should you probably do? Well, just grab an A and wait for A to come back around. You start with A, you end with A. A is your easier one to do. Even on baritone, A is of the well, E7 is the easiest, but A is not terrible. If you miss a chord, you miss a chord. Whatever. Keep singing. Keep humming if you hate singing, and get your finger back on the A chord and be ready when it's your turn to jump back in again. In the beginning, it's hard to change chords, and so this is one of the things we work on. 1, 2. On top of spaghetti, all covered with cheese, I lost my poor meatball when somebody sneezed. It rolled off the table and onto the floor, and then my poor meatball rolled right out the door. It rolled down the gutter and under a bush, and now my poor meatball is nothing but mush. The rains came and soaked it as wet as can be, and early next summer it grew to a tree. The tree was all covered with beautiful moss. It grew lovely meatballs, all covered in sauce. 2, 3, 4, 1. If you eat spaghetti, all covered in cheese, hang on to your meatball and don't ever sneeze. Okay, that's me playing baritone. You probably are on ukulele, right? So let's do it the other way, where I'm on ukulele, and then the few baritone players that are here will get a chance to hear how cool that sounds at their house. The nice part about playing both of these instruments together as you get two separate voicings, right? The baritone's a little lower, ukulele's a little higher, but we're both playing the same key. Our chord shapes are different, but it ends up getting two separate inversions. They call it chord inversions on your instruments, and so some things really come together really cool when you do that. Sometimes it's just you're just playing two separate instruments, but sometimes you get these moments where you're like, oh man, that sounded really cool. All right, so let's same exact song, but I'm going to play ukulele this time. We'll let the baritone players hear how that sounds. 1, 2, 3. On top of spaghetti. I gotta switch chords. 1, 2, 3. On top of spaghetti, all covered with cheese. I lost my poor meatball when somebody sneezed. It rolled off the table and onto the floor. And then my poor meatball rolled right out the door. It rolled down the gutter and under a bush. And now my poor meatball is nothing but bush. The rains came and soaked it as wet as can be. And early next summer it grew to a tree. The tree was all covered with beautiful moss. It grew lovely meatballs and all covered in sauce. If you eat spaghetti all covered in cheese, hang on to your meatballs and don't ever sneeze. So hopefully your hands are starting to come along with A, D, and E7. Those are chords that are going to come up. In fact, last night in our foundations class, next to last night, it comes right back in the song Aloha Oi, and so you're going to get a chance to be having that come back to haunt you down the road. Okay, go back on your little book into page 10. We're looking at the song Kookaburra. Mary says, yeah, that was okay. Yeah, it's fun, you guys. It's fun. When we're singing, you guys know I can't sing. If you love to sing, probably should be taking singing lessons rather than you could take these ukulele lessons. They're free, right? You get to come take these, but get some singing instruction as well. I've taken 0 minutes of singing instruction. I did read 2 books on how to sing, but I've taken no actual minutes, so you can tell because it shows up in my performances, and that's why I play instrumentally. But if you like singing, right, you want to get really, you're going to be belting it out and using ukulele as your backing track. All right, Kookaburra. If you are a Girl Scout, you probably know this song. If you're not a Girl Scout, you probably don't know this song. Australian, we have kookaburras, the bird that goes wah, 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 in the trees. That's that bird. He's sitting in the tree, and I want to just warn you. I think that the greatest line ever written in music is in the third verse. That's not a monkey. Stop, kookaburra. That's not a monkey. That's me. I think that is just brilliant song. If I ever wrote that as a song, I'd just drop my pen and I would never write another lyric ever. That's beautiful. A chords for ukulele. D chords for ukulele. F sharp minor. It's an A chord with your ring finger. Okay, and then an E chord, E7, back to A. Okay, and they're all mixed up, they're all jumbled in here. Every stanza is the same, but they are jumbled up just a little bit. And so one more thing, Baritone players, remember you got your A chord is here, 1, 2, 3. Ba-da-da-da. Your F sharp minor is a bar. Look, you get a chance to use that bar with your ring finger up on the 4th string up here. Here, I gotta stop looking in the mirror. 4 here, okay, and then your D chord down here, and your E7 is here. Okay, let's give it a try. Not fast. Not Girl Scout speed, certainly. And we'll play it both with baritone and ukulele. 1, 2, 3, 4. Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree. Merry, merry king of the bush is he. Laugh, kookaburra, laugh. Kookaburra, gay your life must be. Kookaburra sits in an old gum tree, eating all the gumdrops that he can see. Stop, kookaburra, stop. Kookaburra, leave some there for me. Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree, chasing all the monkeys that he can see. Stop, kookaburra, stop. Kookaburra, that's not a monkey, that's me. Oh yeah. Kookaburra sits on a rusty nail, gets a boo-boo on his tail. Cry, kookaburra, cry. Kookaburra, oh how life can be. Kookaburra sits in an old gum tree. Oh, I'm messing that up. From the top, ready, go. Kookaburra sits in an old gum tree. Merry, merry king of the bush is he. Laugh, kookaburra, laugh. Kookaburra, gay your life must be. Okay, so I'm messing around with my right hand, trying different attack strategies over there. You will go around, you will meet ukulele players who tell you that there are strum patterns for certain songs. I am aware that if you are playing the banjo-lele and you want to sound exactly like George Formby, you do have to learn his strum pattern. And if you want to play Somewhere Over the Rainbow exactly like Israel Kamakaa'ole, there is a strum pattern you can learn. Outside of those two examples, I can think of no examples where you are required to strum in any particular way. And even if you are doing those guys, those tunes from Israel or from George, why would you do it exactly like they do it? What is the point of that? You're artists and musicians. I'm hereby dubbing you that. You made it through your first week of music on ukulele. No, you don't need to play anything like anybody else. You're you. Play it your way. And so that means coming up with your own strum patterns for everything. Kookaburra. Keep your chords. Let's play it. This will sound cool. If you've got a ukulele, this should sound pretty nice with this in the background. From the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree. Merry, merry king of the bush is he. Laugh, kookaburra, laugh. Kookaburra, gay your life must be. Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree, eating all the gumdrops that he can see. Stop, kookaburra, stop. Kookaburra, leave some there for me. Kookaburra sits in an old gum tree, chasing all the monkeys that he can see. Stop, kookaburra, stop. Kookaburra, that's not a monkey, that's me. Kookaburra sits on a rusty rusty nail gets a boo-boo on his tail. Cry, kookaburra, cry, kookaburra, oh, how life can be. Kookaburra sits in an old gum tree. Merry, merry king of the bush is he. Laugh, kookaburra, laugh, kookaburra, gay your life must be. All right, that's your 4 chords, right? And in this songbook, if you look at page 1, dun, 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 you got this chord arrangements. Those can be turned into a song. And if you're working on getting where you're better at changing chords, just play 4 beats of each of those. 4 A's, 4 F sharp minors, 4 D's, 4 E's. This is how a song is written. I just gotta go around and around a dozen times. Okay, so yeah, so that front page there, that little, these are in order on purpose. The order that I put them in there is so that you can just play them over and over and get comfy with changing your chords, and you can write a song out of that. Let's pick one song. Somebody pick a song that went well for them this week out of here, and let's play that as our wrap up for the week. Mary says, is it okay to use your pinky on F sharp instead of a ring? Sure. Yeah. Yep, you could do that. I don't know why you would, but you could. The only problem with that, Mary, is that down the road, this pinky is going to need to be on this 4th fret. Okay, and I'm in a different key than you. I think you have I forget if you have baritone. You're thinking this one. Then you're baritone, right, Mary? So you're thinking, hey, I got this one. Can I put my pinky up there? And again, the answer is yes, except you are going to need to put your pinky on this note. Okay, so I would generally suggest going with my fingerings on your book, and you'll see on the little chord charts at the bottom, I tell you which fingers to use. Generally speaking, I give you the pretty standard issue chord shapes. I do one chord shape that is slightly different than most people would probably teach it, only because I missed it a gajillion times, and I have found that using a pinky on an F chord or a C chord for baritone, that using a pinky is better than using a ring. But outside of that, I think pretty much you want to stick with standard fingering, and because I know what's going to happen, you're playing your F sharp minor, and in most songs, not most, but lots of songs, you're going to be playing this note, and you're going to need to be playing this 5 as well. So it's better if you can use my fingering, at least for now. But it's not gonna. What you're doing there isn't going to create a bad habit. Let's put it that way. You're gonna find out, hey, I can play it like this most of the time, but then on this one song, I got this one note, so I'm gonna have to start using my ring. You won't develop a bad habit by using your pinky. I would just recommend you sticking with your ring if you can. That would be my thought. Okay. Guys, give me a song. Nobody said anything. If you don't pick a song, I pick a song, and I'll pick Will's on the Bus, right? No, I wouldn't. I would never do that. All right, you're not picking. Let's go with This Little Light of Mine on page 14. This Little Light of Mine on page 14. Back in the day, my mom would take me to church all the time. Sunday mornings, Sunday nights, Wednesday nights. We were in that church, right? And then we had to go to summer vacation what was it called? Summer vacation Bible school. And This Little Light of Mine was a perennial song that came up for us children. And so now you have it. You've got your A chord, your D chord, and your E7 shows up at the end. So let's play it together, okay? From the top, grab your A chords. 1, 2, 3, 4. This little light of mine D chord. This little light of mine. Back to A chord. I'm gonna let it shine. Keep your A chord. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. D chord. Let it shine. Let it E7 shine. Let it shine. Okay, now notice I'm just using a four-finger pluck down here. This is going to be something you do a lot of as we go forward. Mindy, thank you, Vacation Bible School. I was like, what did they call that? I haven't been in a few years. All right. I'm just doing this pluck, but you could be doing this one too, right? Maybe the second time through, do it one way one time and a different way the second time. Let's do it again. 1, 2, ready, go. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. And you would change your pattern a little bit and go back in, do it again, and try it with this one. Thumb, index, middle, ring. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 just from directly out of your Make It Better bar worksheet. 1, 2, 3, 4. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. And switch to your D chord. This little light of mine. Back to A. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Big finish with a strum. Very nice. Isn't that pretty? It's a pretty little tune. We have a jazz version of it on the website. So if you wanted to get a little bit cooler version of this little light of mine, you don't have to be attending the rather an interesting church that my mother is to in order to appreciate that song. You can have your own light. There we go. Guys, I hope you had a great first week in Foundation. I hope those of you who are taking it the second time, all this stuff is like, oh yeah, I know about that. I don't need. I'm fine, right? So hopefully it's starting to feel comfy for you if you're on your second or third time through. Spend the weekend playing this book. Okay, it's lovely. It's a tremendous book, and you can really do yourself a favor by just trying different strumming patterns and that sort of stuff. On Monday, we will be visiting major scales, and we will be learning how to pluck out one note. You know, the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And then all the way back. I can never remember the order going back. We'll be doing that, and we will then on Tuesday we're going to switch from strumming in the key of A, which is where I get you started. Then we go to C, which is where most ukulele teachers start you. There's a good reason not to start in the key of C. I don't know why they continue to do that, but we will be studying Waltzy Matilda, Soft Kitty, or let's see what else is on there. I can't remember what all is on there anymore, but we'll be digging into those chords. And then Wednesday's your day. Wednesday's the day we get My Spaghetti Monster. That's a big deal that day. That's when we start your chord melody. That's when we add the chords and the melody together. And then of course on Thursday is Three Blind Mice, where we actually are playing a full we're only using one chord, but we're creating a complete chord melody arrangement from playing all three different styles all at the same time. And so we'll be doing that next week. So next week's the legit week. Like next week we go from playing one note at a time in Frère Frère Jacques to playing entire complete chord melody arrangements. So as much as you can, if you miss a day, you do want to go back and look at the archive video and sit through the lesson, because I do know if we can get these first couple of weeks solid, then it's just the rest of your life is quite pleasant, picking these out, fighting through your challenges and all that stuff. So let's get these first 2 weeks right. I love having you guys around. Thank you for being here, and that's it. That's what I know. And you guys have a wonderful weekend. It's supposed to warm up, well, I think, for most places. I certainly know for some of you it's like, yeah, we really need it to warm up. Except for Jim up there, we need it to get cold up there. He's been pushing all of the cold air down to us down here. And he's up there in 26 degrees and sunshine. Brat. All right, guys. Have a wonderful weekend. And keep playing ukulele. I promise if you keep showing up here, you will be a great player. You will be a great player, but you got to show up. That's the hard part. So, Mindy, let's see, vacation Bible school. Yep. Linda, good to see you, Linda. Have a great weekend. It's getting better. It's hurting a little bit less, Gary. Trust me, it's going to hurt a lot in the future, too. All right, thanks, Linda. Nancy, good to see you. Stay warm down there in Florida. I know it's only 74 degrees. So, and Mindy, you are welcome. Guys, the rest of you, looks like we got, I don't know, a dozen people or so tuned in today. I hope you all have a wonderful day. If you are logged into either Gmail or YouTube, and you could hit the like and subscribe button, it apparently helps me out. So have a wonderful afternoon. I'll talk to all of you later. And, of course, feel free to come to the next hour's class.